Have you ever wondered why, no matter what you do, you just don't feel truly happy or content? You chase success, buy new things, maybe even set new goals, but in the end, it all feels the same, like something's missing. You're not alone. This problem isn't new. Ancient wisdom from Musashi, Stoicism, and even King Solomon all point to the same underlying issue. In this video, we'll explore why happiness keeps slipping away and, more importantly, how you can fix it using lessons that have stood the test of time. Stick around, because by the end, you'll have the tools to break the cycle and finally find real fulfillment. Part 1. The Illusion of External Happiness. Musashi knew early on that chasing happiness through external things, whether it was material possessions, status, or recognition, would only lead to disappointment. He stripped away distractions and luxuries, realizing that true peace comes from within. For Musashi, happiness wasn't about what he could achieve or acquire. It was about mastering his own mind and being content with less. The idea that happiness comes from external success or possessions is an illusion many of us fall for. We're conditioned to believe that the next promotion, a new car, or even hitting a big life goal will finally make us happy. But how often does that feeling fade soon after we get what we wanted? Musashi's insight shows us that the more we chase external pleasures, the more we distance ourselves from true contentment. Here's the truth. Happiness isn't found in what you own or the milestones you hit. It's found in how you approach life. Instead of looking outside yourself, Musashi teaches us to turn inward, to focus on our mindset and our inner peace. By letting go of the idea that happiness is something you find outside yourself, you start to realize that contentment is something you can cultivate from within. Take a moment to reflect on where you're seeking happiness. Are you chasing external achievements or focusing on your inner peace? This week, challenge yourself to let go of one external desire, whether it's the need for validation, a material want, or a particular outcome, and see how it affects your sense of happiness. Part 2. The Stoic Approach. Control what you can. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, taught that much of our suffering comes from trying to control things that are outside of our power. Think about how often we stress over situations, people, or outcomes that we can't change. The more we try to control those external things, the more frustrated and unhappy we become. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, while letting go of what's beyond our reach. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, happiness comes from accepting that we can't control everything, but we can always control how we respond to what happens. When we shift our focus from trying to change the outside world to mastering our own reactions, we reduce our suffering and open the door to real peace and contentment. The more we practice this, the easier it becomes to maintain happiness, even in difficult situations. It's not about avoiding challenges, but about how we handle them when they come. Happiness becomes much more achievable when you stop worrying about things you can't change and focus on how you respond. It's in your reactions, not the outcomes, that your power lies. Take a situation in your life that's been causing you frustration, whether it's a work issue, a relationship, or a personal challenge, and practice focusing on your reaction instead of the outcome. Ask yourself, what can I control in this moment? This mental shift can reduce stress and increase your sense of peace. Part 3. King Solomon and the Vanity of Chasing Pleasures. King Solomon, known for his incredible wisdom, had it all: wealth, power, fame, and every pleasure imaginable. Yet despite all of this, he famously declared in Ecclesiastes, "Everything is meaningless, a chasing after the wind." Solomon's experiences led him to a profound realization. No matter how much you accumulate or indulge in, it will never lead to lasting happiness. His lesson was clear. True fulfillment doesn't come from external pleasures or material success. Solomon's story hits home because many of us fall into the same trap. We think if we just get that promotion, buy that dream house, or achieve that next big goal, we'll finally be happy. But like Solomon, we often find that the satisfaction is fleeting. Once the novelty wears off, we're left chasing the next thing, thinking that it will finally bring happiness. The truth is, happiness comes not from what we have, but from living with deeper purpose. Solomon realized that life without meaning or purpose, even with all the material success, felt empty. True fulfillment comes when our lives are aligned with something greater than ourselves, no matter how much we achieve or possess. It won't bring true happiness if we're not focused on deeper, more meaningful priorities. Evaluate one area in your life where you've been chasing material success or pleasure. Is it bringing you the lasting happiness you thought it would? This week, shift your focus towards something more meaningful. Whether it's strengthening a relationship, investing in personal growth, or giving back to others. Part 4. Psalms and Finding Peace in God. The Psalms are filled with reminders of where true peace and happiness come from. One of the most powerful verses, Psalm 46:10, says, "Be still and know that I am God." This verse highlights the importance of finding refuge in God, not in the constant noise and distractions of the world. The message is clear. Happiness and peace don't come from external sources, but from a deep spiritual connection with God. In a world that's always moving fast, where we're bombarded by information and distractions, it's easy to lose that sense of peace. We often look to worldly things, social media, material success, or validation from others to make us feel happy. But the Psalms remind us that these are fleeting and ultimately unfulfilling. Real contentment comes from a deeper connection with something greater than ourselves, and for many, that's faith and a relationship with God. Part 5. Musashi's Wisdom, Mastering the Mind. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai, believed that true peace and happiness come from mastering your own mind. He understood that the constant pursuit of desires and distractions only leads to inner turmoil. In his writings, Musashi emphasized that a calm and disciplined mind, one that isn't constantly chasing after external things, brings clarity and contentment. For him, happiness wasn't something to be found in the outside world. It was something cultivated from within through mental discipline. Musashi's wisdom is especially relevant in today's world, where we are bombarded by distractions. This makes it harder to find peace and focus on what truly matters. Musashi teaches us that in order to find happiness, we must first learn to quiet the mind and remove the clutter of unnecessary desires. The path to happiness, according to Musashi, begins with mental discipline. When you take control of your thoughts, focusing only on what's important and letting go of distractions, you begin to find a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. Happiness, then, isn't something you stumble upon. It's a state you cultivate through mastering your mind. The more you master your mind, the clearer it becomes that happiness isn't found in external pursuits. It's something you build within yourself through focus, clarity, and discipline. Start developing a mental discipline habit. This could be through practices like meditation, mindfulness, or simply focusing on one task at a time without allowing distractions. Over time, this mental discipline will lead to a greater sense of inner peace and happiness. Part 6. Practical Steps to Finding Lasting Happiness. Now that we've explored the wisdom from Musashi, Stoicism, the Bible, and King Solomon, it's clear that true happiness doesn't come from external achievements or fleeting pleasures. Instead, it's cultivated from within, through mastering your mind, accepting what you can't control, letting go of material pursuits, and finding peace in a deeper spiritual connection. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control and let go of the rest, while Musashi emphasizes the importance of mental discipline and clarity. King Solomon reminds us that chasing wealth and pleasure is ultimately meaningless without purpose, and the Psalms show us that real peace comes from a spiritual connection, whether through faith or inner reflection. Happiness isn't a destination you reach after achieving certain goals. It's a state of mind you create through daily, consistent inner work. By practicing mental discipline, connecting spiritually, and letting go of unnecessary desires, you can find lasting contentment. Here's a simple daily routine you can start today to begin cultivating happiness from within. Start with 5 minutes of mindfulness or prayer. Each morning, take just 5 minutes to center your mind through meditation, mindfulness, or prayer. This helps you begin the day with clarity and calmness. Practice gratitude. At some point during the day, list 3 things you're thankful for. Practicing gratitude shifts your focus away from what you lack and toward the abundance in your life. Let go of one external worry or desire. Identify something outside of your control that's been weighing on you, a worry, stress, or material desire, and consciously let it go. Shift your focus back to what you can control: your mindset, your actions, and your peace. By practicing these simple steps, you can start building a foundation of inner peace and happiness that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Try the daily routine we discussed: 5 minutes of mindfulness or prayer, practicing gratitude, and letting go of one external worry or desire. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more content that combines ancient wisdom with practical tools for modern life. Let's walk this journey toward lasting happiness together.